news videos. I don't like making news videos. 2022 is going to be very expensive. Not only are there sets like the Back to the Future car that's been rumored, coming in at something like $170, there's now two more rumors of a Star Wars set and a superhero set coming out to be in the $500 plus range. Now what could those sets possibly be? Now that's what this video is about, but first I want to quickly touch on the January 1st, 2022 sets, as people have been asking me what I think of these sets, and I figure I would drop my 2 cents in, considering that I'm going to be buying quite a few of these sets come January and March. First off, what we're all here for, what do I think of the new Marvel sets, being the 3 new mechs and that buildable Iron Man. Now I'm not a massive mech fan, but I definitely did buy a few of them just to get our hands on some of those minifigures, and I feel like it will be the same situation again this year. With these 3 mechs being Black Panther, Wolverine, and Iron Man based, I definitely have my eyes on that Black Panther and the Wolverine, mainly because I have a feeling that that Black Panther is based off of Civil War, and even though the Civil War series will be over by that point, I still think it would be a very nice minifigure to have as part of the collection. Hi guys, Future Tommy Button in here. In case you didn't see my post and you're wondering where the Civil War episode is this week, unfortunately just due to the postal service going very slow at the moment because of Christmas and COVID restrictions, the parts for Giant Man just haven't shown up yet. As soon as I get those parts, the episode will begin work immediately. I plan to continue the series next Friday, and hopefully that'll be enough time for all of my parcels to get here as well as build the thing. I'm so sorry for the delay on this series. I really didn't want to have to delay anything, but if I just don't have the parts, there's nothing I can do and make it any faster. So again, sorry for the delay, back to past Tom. As for the Iron Man mech, I really don't like it. I don't think that we need a new Iron Man mech, and it would have been nice to see another unique minifigure in this spot instead of another Iron Man, which looks to be the Mark 42, just using this newer one-piece mold to maybe look more like the comic book version. But I much prefer the MCU-styled helmets with the 2 pieces that you can fold up. As for the buildable Iron Man, I can't wait to buy this set actually, mainly because I feel like it's a good concept, but just a bad execution, and I feel like with a bit of my charm, I can slightly tweak it and make it look a lot nicer. Whether I'm the first to do this or not, I have a plan to try and make this a lot more accurate and a lot more proportional, as I feel like this set just doesn't match those proportions very well. And the mask piece, although it's very nice, they've used the same mask piece on the shoulder pads, and although I feel like it could have been more difficult, I would have loved to see LEGO try a brick-built head in this situation, as like the Ironmonger, having that big faceplate on a brick-built head just doesn't look right in any way. But overall, I feel like this was a very nice set for kids. I just don't understand why they include a plaque with it. As for the Star Wars sets that are coming out, I'm very, very happy to see LEGO doing what I like to do in my videos. Having one main set and then having a bunch of other little sets that complement it to make that set bigger and better, including more minifigures and more builds to just overall create one really nice diorama. I'm a massive fan of the AT-AT and do plan on buying one. Obviously, I didn't get one on day one, otherwise you guys would have seen a review probably by now. And I'm sure every single mock builder and their nan are going to be building some form of Hoth diorama for next year, considering we're getting things like the Hoth accessory pack, which looks very, very nice. I especially love those big cannon pieces with the little power packs that are next to them. Very nice and interesting build, with 3 very awesome looking minifigures. As for the Snowtroopers, they seem to be getting a lot of love next year, considering you get 5 of them in the AT-AT anyway, but you're also getting a battle pack coming out with a speeder bike which looks very, very nice. A differently brick-built E-Web cannon to the one that's included in the AT-AT. Personally, I think the one in the AT-AT looks better, but they have to include this new stud shooter on the battle pack, and might I just say that this stud shooter looks miles better than the one that they had previously. Gives me a lot more of a rocket launcher vibe, and seems like it could integrate a lot nicer into some of the other LEGO models, so long as it's not a micro fighter. As for the minifigures of this set, I'm really glad we're getting a new Scout Trooper. Considering I love the one from the Razor Crest, I'm happy that we're getting a brand new version in a slightly grayer tone to match well with the snow. And I know a lot of people complain about the price of this being a $20 set, but considering the 501st Battle Pack was $30, I see this more of them lowering the piece count of the build, getting rid of the 2 droids, and when you look at it like that, I feel like this is definitely worth the £20 price tag they put on the set. But I must say the best set that looks to be coming out from Star Wars is definitely the AT-ST. The AT-ST is actually one of my favourite Star Wars vehicles, and I'm happy to see that they've represented it in the same way that it did look from the film, rather than doing just a straight up copy of something like the Rogue One AT-ST. But to be fair, the AT-ST Raider from The Mandalorian was very nice. I really like that this AT-ST has the shorter stubby head and looks to have bigger brick-built feet as opposed to a sticker from the previous versions. This AT-ST is meant to have longer legs, and by the looks of it, they don't look to be massively longer than the previous versions, but I'm sure that's something we could do in a mods video if that's something that you guys would want to see at the beginning of next year. As for the minifigures of this set, I'm really glad that you're getting a AT-ST driver with a brand new white coat piece that seems to make this minifigure exclusive, and speaking of exclusive figures, we get get a nice new Chewie figure with snow all over him. We get a pretty exclusive Hoth Rebel figure, and although technically not a minifigure, the best looking probe droid I've ever seen that's brick built. Overall, I'm very excited for this ATST, and I think it's probably one of the most detailed ones we've ever had, and I can't wait to review it as soon as I get the model. Moving on to Harry Potter. Now this is actually a March set, but they've announced it now, so I'm guessing that it was a delayed January set. Just seems odd that they released the trailer now. I think the thing I'm most excited for with this set is definitely the minifig side of things. We seem to get a lot more minifig parts than we just see in these photos, as well as a miniskirt piece in black. And I've wanted this piece for a very long time, using it on some of my custom figures, so now very excited to finally get this piece from LEGO. But I must say the chest itself doesn't really look that good in my opinion, and once again continues the decline of Harry Potter for me. Maybe I'll make a full video on that one day. As for right now, I think it's more prevalent than ever. Definitely along the lines of a more creative set, however something I'd put along the same lines as the advent calendars, and with the price being $50, I just don't see that as a justification of spending that much on just some minifig prints, considering I don't think the set itself is very nice and feels a lot more like these books that we got last January, and considering there are 2 more of these rumored, and I didn't like the previous ones either, I feel like Harry Potter is just not one of those themes I'm going to be buying again next year, as 2021 was a very Harry Potter light year for me. But I do have a few more mocks planned, so make sure you've hit that subscribe button and the bell next to it. Now I just want a lightning round City as well as Minecraft. City seems to have gotten a lot worse, again tailoring more towards the kids side of it, and it seems to be since these road plates were introduced in the City line, the sets have just gotten really bad in terms of quality, but hey, they're for kids, what are you gonna do? As for my favorite part of City, the space stuff, it seems that they've not missed a beat at all. I think this moon base looks very nice, it has some great minifigures, exclusive prints, and makes me want this level of quality for the other stuff in the City line. Little do people know that I actually collect Minecraft off camera, mainly because I loved the game growing up, and customizing some of these sets really does bring back some of that charm I felt as a kid. And although I don't really make content on it because not a lot of people watch it, I still want to get most of the sets that have been announced, especially the Axolotl set as well as the Mushroom Island. But once again, some of the larger Minecraft sets like the Fox House just don't interest me, as they're not a known location from the game, it's mainly a player built structure, and those types of sets just don't interest me unless I'm getting them for pieces. But the 2 most interesting things that have happened over the last couple of days is that 2 sets were announced to cost over $500. Now these are a bit more rumor based, so take them with a pinch of salt, but one of the sets is meant to be in the Star Wars line, and one of the sets is meant to be in the superheroes line. Now what do I think these sets could be? Now for the Star Wars one, I do think that we could see another Death Star. I think that is the most likely thing that we're going to see out of this $500 set. However, there are a bunch of locations I would like to see across Star Wars that they could really use with that kind of budget. Something like Yavin 4, or as this year Star Wars seems to be doing a lot of Hoth stuff, I'd love them to remake something like the Battle on Hoth set and put it in something like the Master Builders line, LEGO really doubling down on the fact that that set could be good, considering that set is known to be one of the worst UCS sets of all time. But as for the superhero set, it's a bit more vague because it could be Marvel or it could be DC. Now I think it's going to be a Marvel set. I think with the success of something like the Daily Bugle, it really would be at LEGO's detriment to do something non-Marvel, as let's be honest, LEGO DC doesn't do very well when it comes to sales, and the only thing I can really think it being in the DC line is another Batcave, as the only thing that's selling for LEGO DC is still currently Batman. As for it being Marvel, however, I can see it being many things, from a giant UCS Tony Stark's house to maybe an X-Mansion, considering that we could get a lot of minifigures that way. But if I'm honest, I think the most likely set of it being is probably an Avengers Tower, considering that they were hinting at that kind of a thing back when the Daily Bugle came out. I think it probably would be the most likely set to happen out of this bunch. That, or if they were going to do something Spider-Man again, I could see them doing something like the Liberty Battle. There are a lot of minifigures we need for No Way Home, and a giant £350 set would obviously be a great way of giving us all the minifigures that we need, as well as the big figs, and one that wouldn't devalue the Comic-Con Andrew Garfield figure as much as putting him in like a $100 set, which by the way is another rumor. We have another $100 set coming out this year, presumably for No Way Home, and I'm guessing it's going to be the Bridge Battle, just as it seems to be the introduction of a lot of these enemies, and it could give us something like the Iron Spider again. But if you want more information on that, you could check out this video that's on your screen now. Click the screen. I'll see you in the next one.